so that would need reinforcing one time at will, and if someone needs to get back there in a hurry and that's when it eventually falls or whatever, that's not gonna be a good time for it.
Next time.
Okay, so this is the gate design that we made. We have one big gate that's gonna open in the middle, and then to the right is a man gate for easy access if you don't want to have the whole car go through. And we put the main gate in there so it like secures the area off, so because we're starting to work out there more, because we're expanding the metal program and we're actually working outside more and all that. And we kind of need to close the area off so we can safely work there.
Next time. We got the prices, for the 6x8s, 369, 40 of them, and the just material cost, all of it. It's gonna be like a total of $2,000, but it's gonna be worth it, it's gonna look nice, it's gonna be safe.
And then labor costs, the advanced metals classes, putting it together, so it's free labor. It's learning opportunities for us to get like quality job experience and stuff. And then the gate will get sent off to power cutting and it'll protect the gate for a lot longer than just paint would.
Who did the computer gate design on the computer?
For sure.
Very nice. Who put together the bid?
I did.
Kind of there to help.
He was measurements and called people, he would call everyone he needed, and I did numbers of what we needed, he'd call.
So this project was something you guys did from the ground up.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Very cool.
Thank you. That gate is gonna make that look like so professional, like you are upping our facilities. For sure.
Yeah, one of them is a professional negotiator, though, when I went there and they presented this to me, they said there was no labor cost, but we want 2 lunches for our class. We got 2 lunches in there.
Yes, sir.
The history of the gate, that was interesting.
Yeah, so somewhere I heard that gate that's out there was the original gate to the school up front, I believe, that one by the basketball court. I think it was the original one there and it got moved around back once they put a new one up there, so it's been around for quite some time.
Since 67, it's got some age on it.
Wow.
Are we gonna replace the gate at the front of the entrance? Like at this when you bring into the school?
We haven't got that far on the design yet for that gate out there.
I think it would be awesome if there was continuity between that gate and this one, like.
Hey, for a couple of lunches, that.
Boys, yeah, I have no comment on that.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good job. Thank you.
Okay, so.
Jenny, when is that gonna happen?
They're starting, the materials got dropped off today.
Yeah, we got it all today, landed, we're finishing up the table that we're gonna be building the gate on, I will be tonight and tomorrow morning, and then we'll start putting the gate together tomorrow and rock and roll.
I think, didn't you guys say 2 weeks? to build it?
3 weeks, well, yeah, it should take about 2 weeks.
They're also working on our rocket stoves and our water features for our market, our Bulldog Market on May 11th. So if you need a new camping stove, their rocket stoves, they're amazing. These guys are building those too.
Okay. Keep raising the
May
bar.
10th, May 10th, we'll have a big sale.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
thank you all.
Thank you. Good job.
Okay, our second group today, we have the elementary school Creswell enrichment student leadership presentation.
Right. I'll have all the Creswell students who are helping me with the presentation come up here. So I'll introduce, do you guys want to say your names or do you want me to introduce? Okay. We're just a little nervous, but we're gonna do fine. So this is Veda. And then we have Charlene and Jalen and Liam and Kate. And Melanie and Liam are both 5th graders and these ladies here are in 4th grade. So I'll give a little bit of background. So throughout the whole strategic visioning process, many of you are a part of that, we heard a lot of feedback. And a lot of it really did sort of talk more about the high school and the secondary, areas of, in terms of creating those well-rounded students. And while I was sitting in those conversations, I continued to think about what are things that we can do at the elementary school, because it really starts in kindergarten. And certainly it's not just the responsibility of the high school, but there's things that we can do as well as elementary school. And I know that CTE has been a real priority in terms of getting these awesome experiences. And so I took the idea of creating enrichments to my leadership team and my team really, I really got on board with that. Throughout COVID, we did do some similar club activities and it brought a lot of joy to students and staff. So this year, we've kind of been building the program as we go, but now we're well into it. And we wanted to be able to present a little bit more to you about it because we're really excited and want to share. So we have been spending about 2 weeks preparing for our presentation. And I have to tell you that these kids had about 5 hours of content that they wanted to share with you because they have so much to say and they're very excited about things that they at Creswell. However, we're going to focus on enrichments and hopefully we'll be invited back again in the future to talk about other things at Creswell. So you guys ready to be able to speak to that? Okay, I'm gonna have you start. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna start off with explaining what enrichments are. So Jalen, would you please tell us what enrichments are?
Enrichments are an opportunity for all students to learn things, spend time with students in other classrooms and grades, and build relationships with other adults in school.
Wonderful. And then, Beta, can you tell us when these enrichments are happening?
3 enrichment sessions are scheduled over the whole year. Each session is in 4 weeks, along for 45 minutes.
Okay. And then Katie is going to tell us a little bit about how the enrichment offerings were selected.
Staff made a list of fun and exciting activities that they thought students would enjoy. This spring, teachers will ask the older students for suggestions for next year's enrichment classes.
Yeah, so just to speak a little bit more of that, to get the ground running, we thought of all sorts of activities. But we're really excited to get feedback from our student leaders on next year, of what we want to add to that. So Charmy, can you tell us a little bit more about how students sign up for enrichments?
Teachers show students a slideshow with all the different enrichment classes. There are enrichments for 3rd through 5th grade and 1st through 2nd grade. Students pick their their first 3 choices, and teachers assign them to their students. Those kids get their first or second choice.
Yeah, and then our kindergarten teachers are doing things a little different, just because sending 5-year-olds out into the building on their own is a little, well, we wouldn't do that. So they have come up with a plan to first do some enrichments in their classroom. Then the second round, they did enrichments where the kids went as a whole group to different classrooms. And then in our third and final enrichment, the 4 kindergarten classrooms were going to mix students up amongst just their 4 classes, so that hopefully by next year in 1st grade, they'll be ready to move around the building a little bit more independently. So all students get to participate, but primarily our 1st through 5th grade get these bigger opportunities. Our kinders are just practicing. So Liam, can you speak to what sort of enrichments we've offered?
All sorts of activities and some change each session. Here are some examples of what students could sign up for. Garden, dance, a few different art and crafts, gym games, leadership, martial arts, Lego club, chess club, circuit building, yoga, cooking, robot coding, Spanish, jewelry making, 1st and 2nd grade choir, and drama.
Yeah, and those are not all of them, but a good amount of them. So when I was meeting with these students at the beginning of when we were deciding what we wanted to tell you about, I first opened it up by saying, what do you think has been positive about enrichments? And so I'm going to give them all an opportunity to kind of speak about their own personal experience, why they like the enrichment. So Jalen, would you like to start?
I think enrichments are a good thing because students get really excited about learning new things. What I like about enrichment is my friends and I get to learn new life skills.
Wonderful. And how about you, Liam?
We get to learn new things and meet new students and staff. When we come back to our classroom from enrichments, it is always fun to hear about what other students are learning.
Yes, first time we did enrichment, that was one of the number one things the teachers commented on, is just the buzz and excitement in the classroom afterwards, and how excited they were to tell each other about what they did. And it kind of grew from there. Charlie, how about you?
I think it's nice to spend time with others who share the same interests as me. I really want to be a good leader someday, and the leadership class gave me a chance to practice leadership skills.
Amy?
I think it is important for students to learn new things, and with enrichment, it exposes us to things that we might not normally get the chance to do.
Wonderful. And last but not least, Ava.
Give me an opportunity to be on the leadership team, and I have started to learn how to make mistakes.
Yeah, so they're learning new skills, and some of them are gonna continue with their current enrichments, and they're gonna try new things. But one of the notable enrichments that has really taken off in our school has been this leadership team. Penny Durkee, who does our tier 2 behavior support, said, I want to do a leadership class. And I said, great, take it. And it's maybe one of the most popular classes now. So I'm gonna put them on the spot. And if you feel like you are comfortable enough to say, I was wondering, could you maybe tell them some examples of things you did as part of leadership? Would you like to talk? Charlie?
I crocheted a snowman in the crocheting class, Mrs. Bradley.
Yeah. What about your leadership enrichment? What did you do in your leadership?
We did the canned food drive and took the canned food to the place.
The food pantry.
Yeah.
Okay. Jana, what did you do on leadership?
What I did on leadership is I got to spend time with my team and help out on Valentine's Day and every single holiday we come and help out. We got to like do a lot of things for people. And I feel like that was really nice.
Awesome. Yeah.
What I was able to do is, our group in the first session, or not group, we were able to come up with fun games for, people to participate in at the assembly.
Yeah. So they helped plan assembly, which was awesome. Okay.
I got to spend time with the kindergarten class and help out managing their enrichment time.
Yeah.
We got to go to town hall and look around the place. It was really fun, and we also get to help out in the kindergartners. It's fun to see how like they're learning their different skills.
Yeah. Yeah, so, many of these kids were in either the first or the second session, and so our third session will get another group of students, and next year we'll be interested for this, and perhaps make it just be a year-long thing, because we have a lot of great leaders in our school, and I don't know if you would have had the opportunity to necessarily see these students bloom in the leadership capacity if we hadn't had offered these enrichment. So, one other thing I just wanted to share with you all is separate from enrichments, we have been working with Mindy Lockhart with our Leadership Academy, and she came a few weeks back and met with our fifth grade classrooms in preparation for going to middle school. And I just wanted to share with you some of the activities they did, because they got me excited thinking about the future and then being responsible for themselves and engaging in their student learning. And so they have these tasks where they were talking about working backwards on a specific task. So this one is working backwards on a science project. They created a goal. Their goal was they wanted to get an A on this project. They had to identify the amount of time. So this group said it's going to take 1.5 hours every day for 2 to 3 days to do this project. And then the most important part was the proactive steps, to think about what they needed to do to meet their goal within the time that they wanted to accomplish that goal. And so this group of students said that they're going to ask the teacher when it's due and when and how they can study. They talked about how they need to make sure they have their supplies. And then they want to make sure that they do their work on time. So these are several examples of different activities. So one of them was reading a book, a math test, vocab test. And Mindy was blown away that all of the groups can do this. She was expecting maybe a couple. And so just in preparation for middle school and being responsible, I just think the things that we're offering our students are really looking to grow that leadership and that independence. I wanted to share that with you. Do you guys have any questions for our students about enrichment?
I would love to hear from each of them what their favorite thing was that they did.
Well, my favorite thing was going to the town hall. I really liked that. It was really fun. They had a dog there. It was really, excited to see what the place be. Got to go into the board room where they have meetings.
And what did you learn about the gavel?
It's very important part of the thing, like they have a gavel to get everyone's attention in meetings, to get everyone silent, because it would be hard to like yell over everyone, because usually there's a lot of people that do.
Yeah, and what did the mayor say about the gavel? Do you remember?
It was really, it's
How many gavels are there really in the town?
like two.
Two?
You need one.
And then he said I need it. I don't need the gavel, but the judge and the mayor are the people who are appointed to have a gavel. So we learned some interesting facts. Sherry, did you want to share?
My favorite thing was going to the food pantry to drop off all the candy.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share?
I feel like everything was like my favorite. I loved everything. I feel like I had lots of fun during leadership. And I really was hoping to do this again. So, yeah.
My favorite thing about leadership had to be, giving people a chance at the assembly to just have fun and just kind of forget about all of their hard thoughts and just have fun for an hour and a half, or even half an hour.
Yeah, about 30 minutes. That would be really long, so that would be a lot of fun. Okay.
I really liked being able to go around the school to do different activities.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I love everything about this. It's so fun to watch them be so bright and excited to share.
Yeah.
Can you talk to them about the launch or what's going on around this school newspaper idea?
Oh, well, Charmy, do you wanna, I mean, we haven't even talked. I showed Mr. Johnson your newspaper today, or your student newspaper, so do you wanna on the spot tell him?
Would you like how we made it?
Yeah.
Well, me and my friends, we wanted to do something for the school where we could like, we all love writing, so we wanted to do something with writing. So we decided to do a newspaper, so we came up with an idea and then gathered all the information we needed and put it together on a slideshow. And then we shared it with people and printed it out for our grant.
Yeah, they interviewed a staff member and wrote about the staff member and included a crossword puzzle. They had a quote,
We had a fun fact.
some fun facts. They got some opinions from other staff. In fact, one of those is from a student in this room who would like cheeseburgers to be offered during lunch. So, yes, and those are we're seeing a lot of natural like leadership things kind of come up, not outside of the leadership enrichment, but just empowering our students, which has been great. So we're hopeful that maybe we'll be able to go somewhere with this newspaper. We'll see.
Yeah.
I bet you are.
Yeah, we have a few more people that want to do this, so.
Would you be able to, or would you be willing to share your first edition with the board?
Yes.
Maybe Ms. Hallie can email that to us. We would love to read it.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I just want to reproduce it with your permission. Okay, yes, I will give you a copy of the paper. Thank you. Any other questions? All right.
Just so that you all know, when you get into middle school, there is leadership in middle school that's even bigger. So I expect to see you all doing that.
I think we will. I think we need them and many more are trying to be in leadership. So, excellent. Thank you so much.
Great, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all. You are all welcome to stay if you'd like, but also feel free to leave if you would like to.
Yeah.
I know you'll-
I'll take him.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming.
you.
That's fun, man, like, do that every time.
Yeah. I had a teacher who mistakenly got her thank you to the word note stuck in a pile of stuff, so. Letters from students.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so our next item is superintendent's report. Mike, take it away.
Okay, so if anybody have any questions on the activities in February that I listed there? There were more activities, but those were, I think, the ones that were significant in my schedule for the month. My report highlights, the OSBA Bond Ballots and Buildings Conference was second only to the gate presentation by the kids at the high school. That was absolutely mind-blowing to me, to show me their designs and how they design it, how they arrived at that design. But I was very impressed. But the Bonds, Ballots and Buildings Conference was pretty big, very early in the morning. Lacey can tell you about that. I really had to get the toothpicks in there and the eyes open to talk about Creswell and how the community came together to support this bond campaign and then pass the bond. And been working on the softball and baseball field designs. We finalized the field designs themselves, and we're now working on the designs for the dugouts, the backstop, and the fencing around the field there. But the field designs themselves should have been sent over to the turf producer by now. And we look to have those delivered in April, and the demolition to begin in May, middle of May somewhere, depending on where baseball and softball, all fall into the playoffs. They will be in the playoffs, we know. So whichever one ends first, that's where the demolition will start. And those fields will be done by August, end of August.
I'm excited because I had some crazy bounces in the outfield today, and I thought that outfield
Which they're gonna be done by graduation, so it'll all be pretty when we look at it.
was.
Yeah, they'll be torn up, I heard. Well, they'll be started anyway on the demolition by then, by graduation, but we have a pretty sports field that's there in the stadium. And, we can set up graduation out there now and not have mud in case it rains. It never does, but you never know. But anyway, and with a little bit of hope, we might have the bleacher situation resolved by then too. We found the original bleacher designer, builder, engineering firm that built those bleachers there. So we are now getting bids from them for lifting those bleachers up over the track so you can see what's going on in the field. And then also an estimate on a cover for the bleachers. So things are moving along pretty quickly out there, really smoothly. It's just a lot of people, a lot of meetings to get the designs and timelines down, but we've established quite a bit over the last month for those.
The new cover, does that mean a new press box?
Sure.
Any questions tonight before we keep going? Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any public comments? Okay, then we will move to unfinished business. First, we'll start with the action to appoint the budget committee members. Anyone want to make a motion to? Are you wanting a motion for each person?
We've got three separate positions,
Yeah,
right?
you probably should.
Okay. I'm happy to make the first one. I would like to move to appoint Ron Robertson to one of our vacant spots.
Okay,
Second.
so we have a second. Any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. And so we'll move to the second, which is.
Yeah, I move to appoint Sarah Klein to a vacant position.
Is there a second? Mary, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. And lastly,
I move to appoint Christine Corsi to the third vacant position that we have.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, quick work, nice job, everyone. Next item is a discussion about the superintendent's evaluation, and I think I have your notes in case.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Debbie, wanted to participate in the superintendent evaluation, so she asked if I would mind moving it to April, and I said, of course not. April's fine, it's within our timeline deadline, so, if there are any concerns about that, please let me know. In advance of that meeting, we would need to approve having a special meeting executive session prior to the next board meeting.
So do we need to make a motion to that, do we have to do anything tonight to have a special board meeting next?
If you're gonna do it prior to the regular April meeting,
And then if they're gonna do it in the meeting, they can make the motion at the meeting to do it, to start the meeting, next meeting, or do they need to approve that before?
well, if you're going to have the executive session special meeting before the April meeting, you'll need to do that tonight, so we can set the meeting.
We need to set the meeting date so you can post it 7 days in advance, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so would we like, as a group, the discussion then is, do we want to have a special meeting, or do we want to put the executive session before
Right.
our regular April meeting? Right, that's the question.
Right.
Okay.
I think if we have it at the same time as a regular meeting, it makes for a long night.
There.
I agree.
A little long for me.
Okay.
I don't know about everybody else, but I would much prefer to have a separate meeting to focus on that. And to have it be that.
I think that's good.
I agree with that. That's my preference.
I think we normally have a work session scheduled for the week prior to that. That works for me, I think.
Yeah.
April 3rd is a bond oversight committee meeting that's scheduled, so we either need to change the bond oversight committee. That's already been mailed out to all of our citizen members, so I don't know if we want to change that. Does it have to be 7 days before the board meeting, or can it be a different day? It can be any day. We just normally reserve the first Wednesday for a work session if we need, and then the second Wednesday is a board meeting.
I could do that Monday, I can't do the Tuesday.
April 1st. April 1st. Is Debbie back by then?
I am.
Oh, oh.
I'm watching you all. I can see you.
I apologize, Debbie, I didn't even realize you were out there.
That's okay. Yes, I will be back on the 1st.
Okay. Is there anyone who can't make the 1st?
I could do the 1st or the 8th, the Monday before the Wednesday. I don't know what that's like for Mike's calendar.
This is April, right?
Yeah,
April 1st.
I could do either of those Mondays.
I'm not available until after the 2nd.
Oh, okay, I'm available the 8th if there's anyone not available.
I can do the 8th.
I'm available the 8th as well.
We can hear you so well now. Okay, awesome. You can do the 8th, Sarah's and Mary's the maybe, I can tell by the look on her face.
Maybe,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay, how about you?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay if we set it for the 8th, or would you like
Yeah.
to pick a different day?
No, that's okay, I think I can adjust what I need to do, so,
Okay.
yeah.
You talking 5 or 6 or?
I need to do 6 if that's okay, just because of practice, I don't get it done.
I think it helps me get home and get dinner.
Okay, so sounds like we landed on April 8th at 6 p.m. for an executive session.
So we need a motion.
We need to make a motion? Okay.
I move that we set an executive session on Monday, April 8th at 6 P.M.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Is that all the discussion we needed to have on superintendent evaluation? Okay, great. We'll move to the next item. It's an information item about the budget committee update.
No updates, we already.
No, same as last time.
Okay. We have a committee, I think, is that updated? Not that. We didn't have a committee last month, so. Okay, great. And we're still on track for the same dates that we usually do. And we have a full committee. Is that a true statement? Or
No,
we still have,
still two vacant.
still have 2 vacancies, so we need to
So some, you know.
speak to people. Okay, wonderful.
Do they have to be above 18, or could we ask if we have any finance-minded students that want to join?
That's a good question, I don't know.
I'm looking out at 2 regular students. I don't know if they're finance-minded, but it just sparked the idea. I don't know what our regulations are. Do you remember, Marilyn?
I thought you have to be eligible to be a board member. Is that correct?
I think you have to be 18, you have to vote.
You have to be
Okay.
a registered voter in the
All right, you
district.
guys are off the hook. It was a good try.
I'm with you.
Katie. Enrichment opportunity.
We got a great leadership team here.
They know it is.
I know, CTE credits can be operating.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we'll keep
Okay.
working on it. Yeah. Okay. New business action to approve the architecture, engineering, design service recommended for the CTE building at the high school.
You want to make that presentation?
Sure. So the committee, which we had some members from this board on the committee, we had other members that we had started out with 14, we ended up having 12 RFPs to review. And then we narrowed that down to 4 interviews. We conducted interviews, the committee did, and from the interviews, we were able to get to a selection of Souderson, which is what we're presenting tonight as a recommendation from the selection committee to move forward with. A letter of intent has been issued. That's a normal process with an RFP. And so Souderson has agreed they want the job. And we actually have a meeting this coming Monday to start our kickoff meeting with them. And if this is approved tonight, obviously if it's not approved tonight, that meeting goes away. But if it's approved, we would start the process of the drafting up the contract with them, which at the next meeting in April, you guys would be presented that to approve. Is there any questions about, if you've seen my board reports, I've kind of walked through in the last 3 board reports of mine, what we've done with that process. I can go in depth more if you need to.
Remind me who's on that committee, on the board?
Yeah, it was Lacey, Mike, and Tim.
Any of you like to add or subtract anything?
We had a large number of firms of RFPs to go through, all of them so high quality. I found when I was rating them, I have to do a screening and then have to do another screening and like start really looking at details because we have a lot of really good firms. So super excited about that, about having such great high quality people that want to come do work for us. And Soderstrom's was just one of the best. It was a hard choice for sure, I think.
Are they local-ish?
They're out of Portland, but they actually have a couple of their, 2 of their team member components are in Eugene.
Okay.
So their main office is in Portland, but they're also, their architectural engineering is in Portland, but their electrical side of the engineering is in Eugene. And I believe this was a second component, which at the moment escapes me.
No, thank you. Mike or Tim, is there anything you guys wanted to add before we go?
No, just we had thorough discussion. And I don't think the district would have lost with any of them. So I think we're fine.
I feel the same way, that the top four we had were outstanding, and any one of them would have been, we wouldn't, I don't think we'd have any trouble. It was quite a process, I enjoyed it, being part of it.
Okay. We have a motion to approve.
I move to approve Soderstrom as the architect for the engineering design services for the CTE building at Creswell High.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Super excited to bring them on. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all. Very nice job. Next, do business discussion about budget development assumptions, and we have a handout.
Each year, as we go into the budget development process, one of the components is to provide work with the budget assumptions for the coming school year. And this is the summary of the budget assumptions. We're projecting ADMW, that's weighted enrollment, which is different than actual enrollment. That's the formula that's factored in with a lot of other areas within our community or demographics of the community, poverty, students with disabilities, and so on. And then they weight the student enrollment. But our weighted student enrollment has decreased with our student enrollment. Our student enrollment has decreased by 14% since 2020. And you can see that's reflected in our ADMW because we have less students here. The state school estimate for 24-25 is built on the $10.2 billion budget that was approved by the legislature. And over the 2 years of the biennium, there's a split in the revenues. And so it's a 49-51 split. So this year we got 49% of the funds from that budget Google, that 10.2 billion. And next year we'll get 51%. So we have a little bit more coming in the second year than we had in the first year. But we've lost 40 more students, 20 students last year, 20 students this year, and going into next year. We believe that trend will continue, but so we need that 51% next year, second year of this biennium. We really need that help. Our ending fund balance is 3.2 million, which surpasses the budget is about 1.2 million. That ending fund balance, we had to increase the ending fund balance in order to hold our staff and services for the next year, going into for 24-25. And the way that we built that was in the budget plan that we started 3 years ago with ESSER funds. And how we would use ESSER funds for staffing to build up our general fund to increase our ending fund balance for this year to get through the cliff next year. Otherwise, we would be in a massive cut mode right now and laying people off for the next school year. But as we go in, over the last 2 years and going into next year, we are reducing staffing through attrition. So retirements or resignations, we're looking at our enrollment and what's happening in that school and by grade levels to determine whether or not we're going to fill a position. Both in all groups that we have of employees. So, for example, in third grade, since kindergarten, over the past 3 years, our kindergarten enrollment has dropped by about 20 to 25 students each year since 21-22. So now going into third grade, we're looking at an enrollment of about 75 kids. And so that's less than 100 that we have staff there. We have staff FTE for 100 kids there. Well, now we're going to have to reduce at that grade level. And that's the attrition. That's how we're adjusting our staffing reduction to meet the revenue downfall that we're going to incur in the next school year. But what we plan to do is roll up our current service levels with attrition, reductions in staffing, so that we have what our program looks like now, K-12. Our support's in place, our support staff in place, our teachers in place, and what we offer our kids to the full benefit of what we've had in our budget. So academic calendar for all employee groups, no reduced days. Status quo for contractual cost of living adjustments, so COLAs, we're looking at a COLA increase and not a COLA freeze. And status quo of increases in insurance caps. We know that insurance goes up every year, we have that factored into the budget, we will have that available to our employees. We also have additional revenues and expenditures to look at from other sources, so we'll be analyzing our ESD service order and reviewing our placement and our services that we are going to require from ESD and what we're going to pay for. We review those every year. We will review them again as we should. Supplies and material, we plan to roll up our current amounts with our services and supplies and materials to classrooms. So we plan to continue that. Continue to fully fund 275 for our extracurricular activities. Vehicle replacements, nutrition services and facilities, and co-curricular salaries for our coaches up to 100%. And then contingency. So in order to not take the hit in staffing and make cuts, we've reduced our contingency amount on our carryover from 7% to 6%. We've had a 7% contingency for the last 4 years, I believe. That's been our consistent contingency to start the school year with, is 7% of our budget. But with where we're headed now in our funding and our grants going away with ESSER, we are reducing our, we're working our way, we reduced our contingency to 6%. And that's what we will be preparing in our budget.
So we pushed back the financial for 1 more year.
And the strategy has been for 3 years as we're looking at this cliff coming of millions of dollars. Because, well, we had to get, there were 2 points for us to look at to determine what we were going to do exactly with that ESSER fund. And one of them was what would happen with this current biennium, what would be approved. All across the state, all superintendents advocated with the legislature for 11.2 billion. And I believe other agencies did too, for 11.2 billion. When we did advocate for that, we informed the legislature what would happen at each district if we didn't get 11.2 billion. What would the consequences and impact be to our service and programs? Meaning how many staff would we lose if we didn't get 11.2 billion? The legislature, being fully aware of those consequences, approved 9.9 million. That was the proposed amount. And things just kind of went haywire across the state. Then they upped it to 10.2 billion. That's $1 billion short of what we need across the state. $1 billion to us is $1 million in our revenue for Creswell. So that was the first look. Then we knew, okay, all ESSER funds, if we're going to maintain low class sizes and intervention programs and continue to bring our curriculum in, adoptions in, and all the services that we need to accelerate our students' learning, then we were going to have to focus those funds, that grant, on gap filling the amount of revenue decline each year. And we've done that since 2021-22. The second look is, okay, now we know what's happening next year. But going into this, knowing we were at a 10.2 billion, $1 million short for our district, how are we gonna get through this biennium? And let the legislature decide what's gonna happen in the next biennium before we have to make massive layoffs. And so we strategized to pull Esser in to our ending fund balance this year to get us through next year to stave off that cliff. One more year to give the legislature an opportunity to adequately fund schools. Now, that's all where we are now, going into this. So, with that, with the $10.2 billion budget, with 51% on the buy-in year next year, and all things said and done, right where we're at right now, we would be at a $300,000 deficit. We would have been at a $2 million, $2.3 million deficit if we had not planned our budget this way. So that $300,000 difference is going to be addressed through attrition, through reducing staffing through attrition. So we have a plan to do that. And we've talked to our administrators about that plan to do that at 300,000. Any increase above 300,000 is going to be a reduction in service or staff.
So if we're waiting for the legislature in the next biennium, that means next school year for us, we need to be continually advocating.
Next year, we all, I mean, if this state doesn't advocate to get something that's adequate for our schools. I mean, there are schools that have been reducing staffing since last year. Most schools were in a reduction of last year. And those that weren't, there are very few that are making it to 24-25 before reductions. I mean, massive reductions. Portland Public is at $140 million difference, and they're making reductions now. Salem Kaiser is over 40 million. They're making reductions now. Corvallis has already sent out pink slips. I mean, those are big reductions, and that's the cliff that hit this year that they were preparing for last year with cuts, and then this year again with cuts. And that's pretty common across the state.
Sure.
We can hold it off. We planned it this way. And we can do this way. And our kids, another year of this current service level, you've seen the progress they've made over the last 3 years with the learning gap that was created during the pandemic. I mean, they have made rapid recovery in learning. And one more year just means another huge dose of instruction and learning for these kids. And we really need it. We need this staffing level, we need this service level and support level for the kids to continue their acceleration in their development. Both academically and emotionally, we've invested in both.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, Zone 2 Representative, the Lane ESD Budget Committee.
So, yeah, Lane ESD is, they're in the same situation we are, you know, with their budget development. And they have, representatives, throughout the county. And Zone 2, they are asking for someone off of this board to participate on their budget committee. Zone 2 is primarily Creswell. It's a little bit of Eugene, but it's primarily Creswell. So, they are asking, if we don't have them, they'll find someone from a different, district to fill that seat. But they are asking if anyone would be willing to volunteer to be on their budget committee. They basically have one, like, you know, they have one meeting. It's about an hour long and hour and a half. And if things don't get done, then they'll have 2 meetings, but they are done typically in one. Have not had to have more than 2 meetings.
Do you know when that meeting is?
Orientation, there's a budget orientation meeting in April and then a budget meeting in May. He didn't give dates specifically.
I think everyone did, but if nobody else wants to do it. I've been on that for a long time. might as well do that, unless somebody else wants to do
Makes a lot of sense. Mike is aware of ASD quite a bit.
Yeah, works for me.
Thank you,
it.
Mike.
Is that okay with everybody? Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Do I contact Tony or somebody get a hold of me or?
I'll send him the name and then they'll reach out to you and
Okay.
get you the information
Okay,
that you need.
yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Mike. Next topic, discussion, them to, sorry, HB 2009 enterprise zone fees.
Yeah, so I sent you all the information on HB 2009. That kind of caught me by surprise. Actually, it caught the state by surprise. This is 2009. And, at first read, it's like, well, why would a district want to assess fees on businesses in their community? You know, and I was like, I don't, why, what? So I had a lot of questions about this, and I didn't get a lot of answers from OSBA and, or from COSA. So, eventually, we did get some information from OSBA, but we don't have a template, but where I really started rich on information was actually meeting with the coordinator for our zone. And, he is in Cottage Grove, and Cottage Grove and Creswell is, you see in this open page here, we're in the same zone with them. But I'll let you take a read on that first page and then I'll tell you more about it. So what this means, if you go flip back to the third page, you'll see an overview that came to us from our zoning coordinator. And this is pretty good, and I'll build on top of that on page 3 out of 5. Sarah might know more about this than me. But the way it goes is that if your business coming in to a community like Creswell or Cottage Grove, especially for a rural community, and you want to start a business there, like a hotel. And, it's gonna take some time to get things going, to recoup some of the investment there. They can apply for a tax exemption for 3 years. And it's nearly, if you qualify, you get 3 years tax exemption. Now, if they get to year 3 and things aren't looking like as rosy as they thought they would, and they want to apply for an extension on that tax exemption for years 4 and 5. If we don't have an enterprise zone fee as a district to say, we want you to pay in years 4 and 5, 15 to 30% of your, what would be your tax amount. Then they cannot apply for 4 and 5. They won't get it. It's not provided for them. It's 3 and done. If we do go through the process of establishing a fee, a zone fee for Creswell School District of 15 to 30%, then they can be approved for year 4 and 5 on the tax exemption. And I thought, okay, 30% is a lot of money. But when you take into account what they're taxed, and then 30% of that, it really is not. You can see in the second page is there how much that amounts to. And we don't have an enterprise here that would fit into this in Creswell. But if we want to entice somebody, we have 5 years available for tax exemption. That's attractive. A business that wants to come into a small community like ours, a rural community. But we don't have to make any decisions today. I just have been doing quite a bit of research and meeting with people to figure this out. Because it was really confusing to me at the beginning, as I said. But now it looks like to the benefit of new business. If we have, and we are, there's a deadline of when we can set this in place. When the district can put this in play, the board would approve that we will have a fee, an enterprise fee of 15 to 30%. So coming into the next year or whenever OSBA can get us the template to look at on that proclamation, and we can move forward. I'll bring that back to you, but I wanted to give you some info ahead of time.
Have you learned, is it the Lane County, is Lane County the one that would approve an extension for a business? Would it be City of Creswell that would approve the extension? Who's the
It
decision
wouldn't
maker?
be the city of Creswell. It would be the county. We've already approved the fees. Those would already be registered with the county. County then it would be appealed to them. It would be an appeal to them for 4 and 5, year 4 and 5.
So does Creswell also have to do this for it to be valid to the zone?
They do, and they actually will benefit from it right away. Because they have businesses that have established there within the last 2 to 3 years that are tax exempt now. So they would be anxious to do this. So that those businesses could, have an option for years 4 and 5. They don't have to, businesses don't have to, but if they want to, it would be an option for them. But where the state is with measure 2009 is that, all fine with us on the taxes on the business, on the state taxes, but your local school district should, if you want to have years 4 and 5, you should be contributing to your school district's budget, or revenues. But they do say, they take that into account with their revenue distribution from the state level. So I don't know if that's the piece I don't know. If we get this from our local business, does that mean that we're gonna subtract it from our state schools? Haven't found that out yet. either way, years 4 and 5, it might come down to a business being successful or not. Like being able to have that option.
You talked to the superintendent of Cottage Grove to see what their plan is?
Their plan is to do it right now. I was in the meeting with them and and our zone coordinator. We all met together, the three of us, and they have nothing to really think about. They need to do it. Because they have businesses that have tax exemptions right now for this 3 years period. This is the window.
We have none.
And we have none currently.
So if we set up an enterprise zone, we're opting to let a business pay us 30 cents on the dollar of what they would be paying.
Or 15 cents. Between 15 and 30, you established amount, and that's the parameters that they have, it's 15% to 30%.
With the hopes of they move to your community and start a business. You're making applications.
You're giving them an option of a 5-year tax exemption to pay us, and then we'll be to a school district.
I'd be curious what the business failure rate is. They move in, they have business, they don't pay taxes for 5 years, and then they close. And we never collect anything on the property.
We would collect for years 4 and 5, but if they're not successful, they shut down year 3 or I mean, they don't go through year 4 and 5.
Is it just tourism or is it all businesses that come? Any
Okay.
business that would apply? It's a hard decision. Like,
We'll get more information coming from OSB, and this is what I've been able to dig up so far. There's a lot already, so I had to get it out before I lose my track of it, you know? But I've been doing this for about the last 2 months since it passed. And was distributed to us, there's 22009. And I had on the dock. Anyway. Sounds like a good opportunity for businesses to move.
More to come?
Yeah, that's all I know about that.
Okay.
Or do you have any questions about it? Anybody have any other questions?
well, I got tons of questions,
I
but
bet you
they're
have.
not,
Okay.
I bet they're not
That's fair.
necessary right now.
I'm eager to hear more.
Yeah,
It isn't,
sounds like we got
it's
time.
important for our community if we can do this. I mean, if we can do business and come in.
I don't disagree with that a bit. I see some business data through my work. And sometimes these things pay off, sometimes they don't. We just had a discussion about how we're hurting revenue. So it's a hard decision. They should, I mean, this is, anything I say is gonna sound like, oh, this is just the way it should be, and it's never easy for businesses, right? Ideally, if you're applying for a tax exemption and you know that it's gonna be 3 years and you need, like, somehow you need to have a break-even point by then, there's a business plan behind that that encourages that so that they can then start paying into the systems that we depend on that land to generate our revenue. So that's like one side that I'm thinking of. We need the revenue, right? And then the other side is, right now, like the Oregon economy needs every business to operate and the expenses are skyrocketing. And do we want to discount some of our money for a couple years to help with that? Is that gonna pay off so that in year 6, they're actually gonna be running still? Or is, if they're, like, what's the failure rate at year 3 to year 5? If it's a 90% failure rate, this isn't gonna make or break anything, right? Like the root problem is deeper.
From the glass half full, you know, any business that comes in is gonna need jobs.
Oh, no.
And we
I know.
we need jobs, we need people working in Creswell. And if they're willing to pay the 15 to 30% in years 4 and 5 to keep operating, to employ people for 2 more years. I mean, we're struggling right now to get through 1 more year of funding crisis in our district. that one more year means so much to the community. So and that's the way I think about this as a business venture. You know, trying to bring it in. If Cottage Grove has this, well, Cottage Grove will have this, Cottage Grove has it. And, Crow Applegate has it, and Springfield has it. Those businesses are going to look at that 5-year opportunity and think, three might be tight, but I know I can do that at 5. And that's going to benefit that community.
I think one of Creswell's problems is gonna be that we're landlocked, like real estate wise and development opportunities are at a minimum, especially with the moratorium on building on this side and developing anything. And, you know, on the other side of I-5, most of it's already bought and is being built already. So I feel like there's not a ton, I mean, we're getting McDonald's and we're getting Taco Bell and they're building these, like those other things, but other than that, like commercial lots, there's 2 behind Weimar and Spotted. So there's not a ton of opportunity for businesses to come in. Not trying to sound negative, but real estate for the real factors.
Yeah.
The glass half full says,
Listen, building a business in this town is.
better to have a plan and be prepared for something to happen than for something to happen and not have a plan and be prepared for it.
Sure.
Because who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen, but that's just my thinking of it. But ultimately, we will decide.
Well, I look forward to more discussion.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Reports, trustee reports. Mike, can I start with you down there?
Sure, I've been to a couple of union meetings in the last 2 weeks. And those seem to be going pretty well, pretty good communication back and forth. Went to a Laney SD meeting and, we've always talked about if somebody, a kid in our school wants to fly, we'll set them up with, free flight out of the airport. And the secretary at the Laney SD meeting approached me about her daughter has a chance for a full ride scholarship at a flying school in Hillsborough. And her opportunity is she's from Alaska, and if she'll sign a contract that if she gets her pilot's license, she'll fly in the state of Alaska for Alaskan Airlines for 3 years. She gets the whole thing free. So we're gonna bring her down and take her out. And one of the guys that's on the board with the airport board with me is gonna take her up for a flight, show her around a little bit. So that's a huge opportunity for that young lady. You're glad to see her take advantage of it. And then the other thing, I was on the designing architects group that we down at firm, and they were all good. 4 of them were really good, and it was fun to be a part of that, learn the process and stuff. But I don't see how it can go wrong with any of the 4 that we had limited down to. But that's been about it.
Thank you.
I just got back, but I did manage to come to the OSBA training. It's very helpful. I learned a lot. And we had our policy yesterday. The policy committee met, so that's all with them.
I also attended the OSBA training last week. And then I went and spoke to the middle school leadership group about how to become a board member and what it means to be a board member, so that they could check that box off for some award they're going for. And I watched a lot of basketball virtually because we didn't go to work.
I was asked to go down to FBLA regionals and judge our middle school and high school teams for a day. So that was super fun. I told everybody I want to come back and do it next year. It really is quite a bit of fun. The one I am not, like, I'm very informal if it's
like ad lib, and one of the contests or competitions was role playing for customer service. So here these students are coming so prepared, and internally I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to role play on the spot, I didn't prepare for this. So, but they did great, and I really enjoyed seeing them, so that was super fun. I did join Mike for the presentation at the bond conference. I do have to say, did we already talk about this? Am I having a deja vu moment? Okay. Mike did fantastic. He put together a very comprehensive, super well, hit the points of everything that he did, the strategic planning process, the board process, just super impressed. And I told Mike afterwards, his voice showed the emotion. He was excited during it. The presentation was it was the best presentation I've seen Mike done. So super love that. I got to add a few points at the end, like from the PAC perspective, a little bit about the board. Mike did a great job of covering, walking us through that. We had great questions, from folks afterwards. They seemed to really enjoy it. So it was super cool. I was super proud of Creswell at that board conference. So that was fun. Helped with the architect process. I think we had a bond oversight committee since the last time we met as well. So those two young men joined us at that bond oversight committee as well. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Had a few meetings for the CTE at the high school architect selection. And then last week was board training.
Thank you. Ms. Debbie?
Sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute myself. I also was able to participate in the bargaining for a little bit before I left town, and Mike, thank you for taking my spot on that while I'm out of town. And then I just was able to talk to Mike and Candace during leadership this week from remotely. So that's all I've done. Besides, I'm enjoying a little bit of warm weather in Arizona.
I went to the OSBA training. I thought that was very nice this time. I thought it was a very good training. It does a great job. We went to policy committee, delightful as always. That's when you guys will be very excited to read these fascinating policies next month. So be prepared. Leadership this last week. We're also in softball season, so I'm at every afternoon girl at the high school for either softball. And we've taken on girls flag football.
Ooh.
So in full transparency, Scott and Goss are coaching. I'm just there for moral support, but it's very fun to watch and kind of a cool event to get the girls trying some new things and running plays and all those good stuff. And I'm in charge of making new wristbands. I'm the wristband girl during the regular season, so we're gonna have some special plays on our own wristbands for girls flag football.
Flag football is going to take, it's gonna catch on in this community, every community.
I didn't know we had.
It's their first year. It's a new thing for this in the state of Oregon. I think maybe some schools had it in the past, but it's actually very organized now. Yeah. Uniforms, and they'll be like, you get district's probably the wrong word, but a district, you get put in kind of pods. And then you play like a round robin thing, generally on the weekends.
So is it like a spring sport for girls?
Mm-hmm.
Not for through school?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like a
it's,
club.
it's actually been approved as an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Flag football is now an Olympic sport, so it's gonna get into the collegiate level. They're competing.
Geriatrically.
They're pretty fancy. The new flags, like they're not Velcro anymore. They have they're like a pop, they're like two pieces of rubber you put together and they're like, pop, and when you pull them out, it's kind of bizarre. I mean, as kids like growing up playing flag football, it's a little different, but it's cool. It's fun to see the girls do new stuff and they listen so well.
They say that this is gonna take off, and accelerate faster than pickleball did. And pickleball is the fastest growing sports activity in the country right now, but Well, you know, the collegiate level, they have clubs now, they're taking those out of the club format and putting them into a competition, you know, collegiate format. And it'll get into the SAA sports and be competitive. I mean, it's gonna go.
I think the final, there's like a final kind of tournament at the end, it's at Nike campus, Nike's gonna host it. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool little thing to do, it's 80 yards. And it's more narrow too, I think it's like 10 yards off of each side, and the rules are very different. You have to go 20 yards, not 10 for a first down, but it's different rules,
Considering how popular our power class is.
Yeah.
With our, I mean, seriously, they take that so seriously, I'm not surprised that we have like girls that are engaged.
Yeah.
They were practicing like starting in summer as those two, yeah.
Two-time champions.
Yeah, they are. But I'm not surprised that it's taking off here because they really took it serious, so I'm kind of.
It's cool, yeah, my most favorite part though, is I've been trying to get to wear those headphones as football coaches for as long as I've been married to a football coach. And I finally get to wear them in a game, and I will have nothing to say, but I get to wear them.
You are gonna be so cool.
You are so great.
So great.
So that's it.
Are you gonna sit up in the box and call a place?
I'm trying to get some pointers from Bob Nickel, like what can I do up there, but I don't think I should use the same language.
I was
so I know.
next one, 30, I'll give you some players what not to do.
Yeah. That's all I got. We have board goals on here, we were reading the book, and I don't think we reset, because we had quite a few people out, so. And in full transparency, I wouldn't have my book, because I have the wrong bag, but do we wanna pick that up next week, or next month, and get back to reading our book, and I think we're on chapter 2, right? Okay, cool. So, we're at the end, I'm gonna, any board requests for future agenda items today, if not, email them to Debbie and Mike. Forward. And for calendar information, I'm gonna make a plug, if you do not know, there is a drama performance, April 20th, 26th, and 27th. So if you don't have it on your calendars, they're doing, oh no, they just told me last night. I already forgot, good plug, but it's gonna be delightful, and go. Do you remember what the drama is? No? Shoot, they did it at the high school? It is, it's at the high school, they do it in the, I call it the cafeteria, but that's not what you guys call it, whatever, commons. And it sounds very entertaining, and if I can remember what it is, I'll tell you.
Saturday's big event, coming up this Saturday.
Booster, yep. Booster auction, the leprechaun event, Emerald Valley, right?
And all that.
Roaring Twenties. If you need is it Roaring, yeah, you're right.
What?
Roaring Twenties, you're right, but some of the stuff's great and some of the stuff's right, so we're gonna pay more.
Oh, okay.
But if you need tickets, I'm sure you can call something back, and I'm sure she'll hook you up, or donation.
She hooked me up.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question about the email that we got, well, on Parent Square, this is totally not, about the Instagram hack? Yes. And I only asked this because when I tried to log into the district's website on, I can't get on, it has completely blocked the district's website on my cell phone and on a laptop.
Yeah, same, that happened to me starting yesterday too.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna tell you that. Every time I do it, every time you like try to go to the Creswell website right now, you get like a pop-up on your phone that says.
Your iPhone's it's.
Yeah.
Everybody concurs out here.
Yeah. I just noticed it yesterday, to be honest.
I did too, right after I got that email. Okay.
Cause I was trying to look up the time for tonight and it kept popping up.
I was trying to.
I had not, I didn't have that problem. I mean, I was on my own computer, didn't have a problem.
Yeah, I get it on
No,
my phone. It's on your phone.
I got it on my phone and I got it on my laptop at work.
I didn't try it on my laptop, but I got it on my phone on my way here today. And last night when I was trying to look something. And I'm trying to.
Well, our website's actually hosted by LinkedIn. And so I just brought it up.
I just got her.
It's on my, okay, so I share it again, cause I happen to be on the way here today.
Oh, yeah, sure. Like that. I'll look into it further.
Of course, I almost took a straight shot of it when it happened, and of course I didn't.
Was it actually a service denied block or?
No, it's like this weird Apple pop-up, and it's not, I can get here, but then it's if I try to go to anything after, oh, see, here, I'll show you, I get it right now.
Do you mind?
Yeah. Okay, I will call us adjourned. Have a great night, and we'll see you on the 8th.
Yeah, that would be very.
Sorry, that was not orderly, but.